So we're going to just talk about how to prototype and build out a collapsible menu. If you click starters, the mains and the extras menu pull down, and then you see the items in there, and you can click and it would bring it back up. So in this instance, we actually don't do it from the prototype tab. We in fact do it from the design, pardon me, from the design tab. So this might be what your pages look like currently. So you have them, what we'd say kind of on click. So what it looks like when you click starters. So it would be how it looks when it's open. I'm going to just show you how to create that. So I'm first going to show you from default state, and then I'll click, and then I'm going to show you how to essentially work backwards if this is how you have it set up already. So what we're going to do is we're going to, because if I click starters, I need mains and extras to move down like you would see here, and then the items show up in the middle. We need to group all of these because they have to now work together. So I'm going to go and Command G to group them all together. And I can make a component in many different ways. I can click over here for a component. I can right click and I can make a component over here. And we can Command K as well. So I'm going to go ahead and make a component so you can see it pops up here. And now we have a default state. So this is what it looks like when you land on this page. When I hit that little plus sign, I'm going to hit toggle state. Toggle state means when it's clicked, what's going to happen, what's the action that happens. So what I'm going to do is right now, again, this is all one component, it's all grouped as we do previously. To select items that's within a group, we just give it a double click and then shift and click to select both of those at the same time. And I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to slide them down. So again, we do that so we can actually, so now that component's much larger on the toggle state, but we just want to make sure that we're working inside of that component versus if we're not double clicking inside of it, if we work outside of it, you're going to lose all of that work. So what I can do now is I can literally click between toggle state and default state to see how that's going to now move. So again, I'm going to double click. So I'm working inside of that component, and I'm just going to recreate those boxes. So I'm just going to pull that grid up, recreate the box. I'm just going to make a nice light gray tone. Take that border off. Go ahead and create another one there. I'm going to add some text. Nachos and guac. Oh, so now I've clicked away. So I just need to make sure again that when I click back, I'm going to double click so it makes sure I make sure that I'm working within that component. And double click because I just clicked away from it. So that's kind of the main thing you need to watch out for. So again, now I can just select that component and I can go back and forth and click between default state and toggle state. So that's all that needs to happen when we're doing a collapsible menu. So again, I can go up here, press play. If I click that, you can see that slide down. Click again and moves back. So just noting that there is some finicky things that do happen through prototyping. So sometimes you might add a state to this. You might make an edit to your toggle state, but it might end up applying to your default state or vice versa. So it's just kind of can sometimes be a little bit finicky. So it might just mean an extra step or two to recreate it. But now what I did want to show you is that if you have this already set up, so it's now essentially in the state of it's already on toggle versus in the default state, to save us from having to go ahead and recreate, what we can do to essentially now kind of work backwards. So just as we did previously over here, I'm just going to make sure that this is all grouped up. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make that a component again. And then I'm going to click that plus sign, hit toggle. So now between the toggle and default, they look identical. So what needs to happen is I need to highlight that default state. Again, I'm going to double click. So I'm working within that component and I'm going to grab these and I'm going to slide them up. So again, because sometimes we might have some finicky things happening. So you can see now I did that a default state, but it ended up applying to that toggle state. So again, I'm going to keep that toggle state highlighted, double click, and I'm just going to slide those suckers down again. Let's see if it works. So now we have some motion between our default state and our toggle state. But the problem now is we have in our default state, we have our menu items that are showing up on top. What we can do is we can, again, double click to get in there. And now I'm in there, so I can hold shift to select those at the same time. And I'm going to go over to my fill. I'm going to unclick. So I can imagine when I hit toggle, they're still not going, they're going to be invisible at this state. So default state toggle. So now again, I'm going to go back to that toggle state, double click. So I'm working in there and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to find those boxes by hovering and I'm just going to turn that fill back on. Now, when I go back default, toggle, it works again. And let's just select that, press play, starters. And then you can essentially, if you happen to open up the menus for every single piece, for the prototyping stage of things, I don't expect you to do that for every single one of those items. You're welcome to essentially just do it for one, so that top one, which would be starters, and then that at least just gets the idea across for the other items. All right, good luck.